folks, welcome into another edition of This Week in Pearl. I'm your host, Frank Hutton, and I've got a great guest lined up for you today. We are actually going to be talking to the director of the Mississippi Cancer Institute at UMMC, Dr. Rodney Racconi. I think you're really going to enjoy this conversation. I'm looking forward to it, so don't run off, because when we come back, we will have the good doctor. We'll be right back.
Here in Pearl, we have Trustmark Park. It seats 8,500 people. It's a great venue that we have here locally. You can catch a baseball game. We have a new team, the Mississippi Mud Monsters, so we're so excited about that. And Trustmark Park, the stadium's been fully renovated. And adjacent to that, we have Bass Pro Shop, as well as the Mississippi outlets that people can come shop and enjoy and have a great time. So it's a good place to come. It's a destination spot for our city. We did a $12 million renovation to our Parks and Rec several years ago, and what we were missing was another key area for our children to come and just be able to hang out and have fun, but also have some playground equipment that was really cutting edge. I've always thought if you can get your community together, then you can have a stronger sense of community. And I think that's what Main Street brings to the table for us. And even though we're a post-World War II city and our architectural doesn't signify a downtown, we're trying to have an area that we create that people can come together and have a sense of community.
Hi folks, welcome back into another edition of This Week in Pearl, where I'm excited to be joined today by my esteemed guest, one of which is obviously Senator Kirby. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And you have brought with you Dr. Rodney Racconi, who is the director of the Cancer Institute here in Mississippi.
That's correct.
At the UMMC. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to have him here.
I am too.
I've already learned a lot just before we even get started.
Just before we even get started, we've already learned so much. I'm excited to have him. I want to explain who he is. So let me introduce him real quick. Dr. Rodney P. Racconi, Director of the Cancer Center and Research Institute of the University of Mississippi Medical Center. He is a Mississippi native, graduated from the University of Mississippi with a biology degree. You earned your medical degree from UAB, which we won't hold that against you. Completed his OB/GYN residency and fellowship in gynecology oncology, and has built a nationally recognized career in cancer research and treatment. Before returning to Mississippi, you served in several leadership roles at the Mitchell Cancer Institute in Alabama. Now check this part. His research portfolio includes more than 140 published papers and over 200 national presentations with a focus on cancer disparities, ovarian cancer, and improving outcomes for underserved populations. Wow, that's a mouthful.
It is when you say it like that, yes.
Welcome to the show,
Yeah,
sir.
no, thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you because this is such a big topic, and bringing in a new cancer center, which we're going to kind of talk about a little bit, but tell people about who are you? Where are you from? Give me your backstory. Where's Mama and them and all that?
Yeah, so I was born in the Mississippi Delta. I'm the grandson of Italian immigrants who settled in the Mississippi Delta, although the farming they did back in Italy was more like dates and olives and
sure,
such.
Dates
so
and olives, right.
they wondered why they settled on the face of the sun when they came to the Mississippi Delta.
That's pretty funny.
But yeah, my dad, grew up in Shaw. My mom grew up in Ruleville. I was born in Mississippi Delta. Spent the first, few years of my life here, and then my dad got transferred to New Orleans area.
Okay.
And so I grew up, right outside New Orleans. And then once I graduated high school there, came back to Ole Miss, as you mentioned, and met my wife there, and we have 3 kids. And after my a career down at South Alabama, where I had opportunity to have leadership roles. Mama kind of called me home, so to speak.
Okay.
So came back to Mississippi here to lead a cancer center, which I'm very excited to be here and really excited about our opportunity to help a lot of patients across the state.
For those people who don't know, what does leading a cancer center mean? What does that mean?
Yeah, so from an academic cancer center like we are, it covers a lot of different bases. Really the triune mission of any, academic cancer center involves one, education. We have to educate our young people, and that includes our physicians going into cancer fields, but also our researchers, our PhDs that are, researching different cancers along that pathway. It also includes excellence in clinical care. So we want to make sure that we're providing, the state-of-the-art, best next treatments for all the cancers that we treat. And then the third part of that, which is research. And research is so fundamental to an academic center because I would argue that every advancement in cancer, or even in medicine in general, is built upon the shoulders of research. And it's just simply asking questions of why certain things happen and getting answers to help move that needle further. And we, in cancer research, we don't hit a lot of home runs, but if you string enough singles and doubles, as in baseball analogy, you can win some ball games.
You can.
And there's no question.
Move runners around the horn.
Score some runs.
Right, move runners around the bases.
That's right. And we've made a lot of progress in cancer over the past few decades, and honestly, I think that the future is extremely bright.
Would you say that being a cancer center director is probably more challenging than just being an oncologist?
Yeah, I think so.
Because of so many facets.
So many different facets. The administrative component of that. It may be some of that's just a wheelhouse. Sure. I grew up to be a physician. That's always, a cancer surgeon. GYN oncology was really unique in a sense. It's the only specialty that does both cancer surgery and prescribes chemotherapy. So other specialties, subspecialties, it's kind of broken out a little bit. We have a surgeon and then someone who gives chemo. So I kind of like that, and so that's my wheelhouse. That's what I was comfortable with. That's what I've done, majority of my career.
Sure.
So it's a little bit, learned lessons as being an administrator growing up, but I've been fortunate to have a lot of leadership opportunities and have a great team around me. And like anything else, you surround yourself with very talented people, then your job becomes easier as an administrator or a leader.
So think back, fresh out of school, UAB, that first job. What was Rodney's first day like? When you walked out and you were like, I don't have an attending anymore. I am the physician. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a pretty confident guy,
Sure, of course, obviously.
And maybe too confident back then. So,
right.
No, I guess first day was, okay, where's the cafeteria? Where's the restrooms? Where's the OR? And not necessarily in that order.
Right.
But, yeah, I think, and this is what I tell This is what I told myself, so to speak. It's what I tell when I mentor young people.
I'm thinking specifically for young people. What was that first day like?
Well, I think first thing is create value in yourself.
Yeah.
And whatever that is do something that's valuable to the institution you work for, and things tend to work out. And so for a physician scientist like myself, first and easiest thing was get busy. Take care of a lot of patients, give excellent patient care. Immerse yourself in what's there, and then the other stuff kind of follows that.
Yeah. So did you take that same approach when you became the cancer center director here?
Yeah, I think so. And now having a little,
of course, being a little older.
Yeah, I got a little more gray hair, longer in the tooth. And,
right.
But I guess. First thing I wanted to do is I wanted to know the institution, and so I was peripherally involved with UMMC just because being a faculty member, new faculty member, but also an alumnus of the University of Mississippi.
The University of Mississippi. I want to make sure we understand it is the University of Mississippi.
and
Not
so
to rub it in.
No, but yeah, I wanted to find out who the helpers of the institution.
Right.
Also, figure out where the landmines might be in an institution and avoid those, but really just get a lay of the land internally. Right. And this job is a little bit bigger, in regards to, not that we're trying to see every cancer patient in the state, because we can't.
Sure.
We need our community partners, and we're building strong relationships with our community partners across the state. But as the cancer center, academic cancer center of the state of Mississippi, we have an onus on us to make sure that we're providing everyone the best care, and we're really moving the needle forward. Mississippi unfortunately has a history of being first in all the worst categories. And cancer mortality is one of those categories, where not only we're worst in the country or among the worst, we have special populations, specifically black men in the Mississippi Delta. Their cancer mortality rates exceed that than some of the worst places in the world, like Mongolia, Rwanda. And so it is a real problem, and we recognize that. It's not an easy fix, but we're here to change that, and I think we are. I think we're making waves.
I referenced this earlier, and I want to go back to it because you bring that up. One of the papers that you co-authored, I'm just going to give people the title of it because it's titled "Racial Health Disparities in Ovarian Cancer, Not Just Black and White." And what you're discussing right here is demographics, environments, socioeconomic, where you kind of are on that, and you're saying there is a huge disparity here, correct?
That's correct, and
the way your treatment of cancer and how it grows and metastasizes.
There's layers to this, as I think everybody understands, and whether it's access to care, transportation issues, lack of insurance, and all of that feeds into this disparity that's there. There's also a genetic component too.
Right.
There's racial components, there's environment, there's all those layers that's there. Just being rural, where most of our state is faced with challenges.
You drive 15 minutes in any direction, you're in the country.
Yes, that's just correct. And one fact that I'll put for that from about transportation and access, if you live in the Mississippi Delta, the average physician, the average miles you have to travel to see a physician, not just an oncologist, is 75 miles.
Oh my gosh.
And so that
75 miles.
That's
the
huge.
average.
That's the average. And so we have all those obstacles that are there, in our way, but I truly believe we have to attack that. And so although we're first in a lot of the worst categories, I personally believe that it's got to be us to figure out how to solve this.
Sure.
I've got colleagues and friends all over the country, and I get a little ticked off when they tell me, "Oh, this is what you need to do to fix your problem." They have no idea. They're not here. They don't see the patients we see day in and day out. And we're not the only state that has some of those issues. And I truly believe this state, the generosity of the people here, Mississippians are just special. They really care for other Mississippians in a way that I haven't seen in other states that I've lived in. And I truly believe it's not going to take monumental efforts for us to get monumental gains.
Right.
And we do the rural scholarship for med school for doctors to serve in those areas that you're talking about. And it's made a difference.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. But
we're trying.
And you're trying legislature, and of course, you kind of pushed UMC to take over some areas in the Delta this year that they're going to have to absorb. But I think they should. We are the major hospital in the state.
That's right.
And we should be moving into those areas.
Yeah, well, we were in the Delta on Wednesday last week with a donor from the Mississippi Delta who had a get-together at his place, so we could basically go and educate and spread the word of what we're trying to do, which is building a new cancer center building, but more importantly, what goes in that building and the research and the tentacles that stretches out.
Well,
to
that
help
just
people.
leads right into what I was going to next, because we're talking about building a brand new cancer center.
That's correct.
State-of-the-art cancer center. The planned center's to be a 5-story, approximately 250,000 square foot facility combining advanced cancer treatment, research labs, clinical trials, patient support services, education and training, which would allow Mississippi to receive world-class cancer care without having to go to MD Anderson or some other place.
That's correct.
So tell me about this vision on this new cancer center. First, where is it going to go?
Yeah, so the location is going to be right across North State Street in that current green space in front of the parking for the stadium. It's right next to the Hope Lodge, where patients can come and stay for free there with a collaboration with the American Cancer Society. And so that's where the location's going to be. But the whole goal is not just to build a building.
Right.
It's important what goes inside of it.
Right.
And the focus of this type of cancer center, borrowing from other NCI designated, National Cancer Institute designated cancer centers across the country, is to have multidiscipline clinics. If you look at the pathway that most patients have to take, just to get a game plan, once they have a diagnosis of cancer, they typically will go see a medical oncologist to talk about the cancer and what's the typical plan and chemo that's involved. Then they might have to go see a surgeon to talk about, well, we need to do this type of surgery, and maybe a radiation oncologist, and maybe talk to someone in genetics, and there's so many of those steps that in the community, and it's no fault, but sometimes it takes 3, 6 weeks or longer just to get a game plan, because you have to schedule and go to all the different places. And so an academic cancer center where we have everybody literally under one roof, we have a larger clinic, a multidisciplinary clinic, to where it's one-stop shop. And so, that morning, let's just say that we're going to have a breast, cancer clinic, which we are, and we do. Is that morning, all the patients that are coming in for an opinion, sometimes second opinion, sometimes first opinion, all the docs, all the radiologists, pathologists, we review every patient's case, talk about what's the genetics of this case, what's the X-ray show, what does the pathology show, and formulate a game plan. So when Mrs. Jones walks in at 8:30 that morning, we've already spoken about Mrs. Jones, and so she comes in and she gets to meet in one location all the docs, all the people, all the helpers that go along with that, from survivorship and all the key issues.
Right.
It's a longer visit.
It's like bringing everybody in one room.
It's one room.
Yeah, it's getting everybody in one room instead of bouncing everybody around.
Yeah, and I think with that you get an enhanced communication and so
and better care.
And better care, and that care can happen there, and we see patients see a benefit from that. Or it could be, our colleagues in Hattiesburg or Meridian or from the Delta who refer for a second opinion and say, hey, we'd like some guidance on this case. Can you, give us an opinion on what y'all would do? And they frequently can go back home, to get their care, which is, if it's me, I'd rather be taken care of at home. I'd sleep in my own bed at night.
Certainly.
And so that's another theme, is that we want to keep people at home. We want a home for cancer in our state, so patients don't have to travel, all the distances to MD Anderson, UAB, Vanderbilt, Mayo Clinic, wherever it is. They can get the same level of care here in Mississippi, and then from a treatment standpoint, for the most part, get their care at their home institution and the community cancer centers that are near them. So we want to keep people at home and give the same level of care as all the others.
I'm especially excited about this because when I was the public health and Medicaid chairman several years ago, UMC wanted to have a floor designated as cancer research. I don't know if you remember that or not, but anyway, and for some reason the Department of Health wouldn't approve it, so I passed a bill saying they would have.
Yeah. You just forced it through the legislative process.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we're going from a floor to a building.
To a whole building.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, no doubt.
Which is exciting. So what does that National Cancer Institute designation bring to the table?
Yeah, so in order to, as I always talk about it, it's a backwards grant. So it is a federal grant that you have to apply for. Most grants, you say, hey, here's the things we're going to do. We've got a good idea. We write it up. We submit it to the NCI and say, give us some money so we can accomplish these experiments and find out what the answers are. NCI designation is we have to do all the things. We have to create all the programs. We have to develop the clinical expertise, and we have to do the research that is robust enough to check all the check boxes. And then we write the application. And it's not a weekend warrior project. The last few applications is around 4,000 pages or so.
You're not just banging that out with AI.
No, we're not. and literally, we're writing it as we go. Because as we're creating programs, we're going ahead and template and say, hey, this is what we're going to go ahead and have our verbiage for this. Right. And so that's to get that quote patch on your sleeve. and it's sort of being a part of a club. You know, if you're in the NCI, as one of the NCI designated cancer centers, it does allow expanded clinical trials.
Okay.
You know, we have already phase 1 clinical trials, which is first in human. You know, we're the only group in the state that does that. And so it expands that level of trials. It expands the level of coverage. It's a united front that's collaborative, you know, with all the other cancer centers. But the main why, and I don't want it to be lost, is that it was not just to get the patch on the sleeve. It's not just the accolades and the recognition. The main reason that we're doing this is because when you receive care at a National Cancer Institute, you know, place, or in conjunction with, meaning again the patient from Meridian who comes over and gets an opinion, survivals are improved by 25 to 35%. Now that percent doesn't sound like a lot, but right now if we're around 50th, you know, in our survivals for cancer in the state of Mississippi, a 25% increase or improvement would take us in the top 20.
Would it now?
And
just a quarter, just 25%.
Just 25%. And as I always say, if we want our football teams in college on the fall to be in the top 20 in the country, we certainly want our cancer center to be top 20 in the country.
We do.
So that's the goal. That's the why. Now the building's important because we need adequate space to be able to do those types of things. The NCI designation is so important, and we're making strides. Hiring a ton of researchers. We've hired 25 PhD researchers in the past 30 months.
Really?
And
25 in 30 months.
We are rolling. In fact, I have to work really, really hard to keep all these dinners and recruitment dinners off
That's
my
what I was just
waistline.
thinking. Do you sit in all of these interviews? I mean, my goodness.
Yeah, we do, and it's been busy, but it's been fun, and you know, word's out across the country. People are calling. When we started this venture, it was me calling friends saying, "Hey, can you come work with us here? This is what we're doing. This is our mission and vision."
Well, you moved to Mississippi.
Yeah, that's why I moved here, and now we're having people cold call us. You know,
That's a good problem to have.
It's
isn't
a
it?
great problem to have. But you know, when someone calls from UPenn, you know, one of the Ivy League schools, you know, great institution, and they say, "Hey, we're interested in what y'all doing. Can you tell me a little bit about it? Because I might make a move."
Right.
And it's amazing to me because we are who we are, and our UMMC, we're very passionate about the mission of taking care of everybody. And you know, there's a lot of patients that can go to anywhere in the country to get their care, but as we know, there's a lot of patients that can't, and we have a moral imperative to make sure those patients get the same care. That mission moves people, and it literally and figuratively because they're moving to Mississippi to jump on board. And I asked them once we're able to, you know, successfully recruit them, say, "All right, tell me what really got you?" And they said, "You know, I want my research to be meaningful. I want to feel like what I'm doing in the lab, even though I don't take care of patients, is helping people." And they feel that happens here.
The people that are sitting in the labs, I mean, those would you say? And I don't know. I'm just asking. But the guys and gals in the labs, I mean, they are going through tissue samples and doing all the research and everything they do in there with the beakers and just all the stuff, and they don't really see anybody else. Would you say they're like that's what they're born to do? I mean, is that?
Yeah, people are drawn to that. I think it takes someone who's got a natural curiosity about them. You know, asking.
Because I mean,
you know,
you're
Mom and
playing
Dad-
in microscopes and you know the real accelerator type stuff that can really look down to micron levels and
Yeah,
you know, they're playing with some super cool equipment.
There's some very fascinating, you know, kind of Star Wars of cancer research now, and the capabilities we have now that we didn't have 5-10 years ago. But you're right; it takes a special individual because you don't ever get it right the first time. That's why they call it research. Because if you just found it the first time, they'd call it search.
right.
Search and find it. But yeah, it takes someone who's very process oriented and dedicated and detail oriented.
So the people that you bring in, you said 25 and 30 months. This helps. I'm just assuming this helps with that NCI designation because it shows the amount of talent that you have.
That's correct.
That's at the facility.
Yeah, that's
so that
correct.
plays a large role into
it's a large
who you have
role
working there.
and also it brings in, you know, research. It brings in new research to this area that really our patients haven't had the benefit of being exposed to, you know, because every you know, the research they're doing is very translational to where it gets to clinical trials, so we're able to actually treat patients you know, down the road. And so that's important. Also the research dollars, because if they have federal funds or federal grants already, that comes to us as well. And that's part of the formula, is to build all that. And we've also hired about 10 physicians that are cancer physicians. We have at UMMC all the expertise that's there, but sometimes we have a very short bench to where we've got all the different types of surgeons and medical oncologists, but we might only have one of them.
Right.
So we're trying to get the depth and breadth across that as well.
So being the university, you are the teaching hospital.
That's correct.
So do you have students come through that are there that may want to pursue a career in this, that you're also, you talk about the bench.
Yeah.
So let's talk to the young people that are thinking, wow, I might want to actually pursue that.
Yeah.
What's their path from med school to actually do, if they wanted to do this?
Yeah, so I guess from a research standpoint, there's an education standpoint, there's two paths. One's, the MD path, traditional physician, and then if you're academic physician, like working for UMMC, you can do research. A lot of that's clinical trials or just, population-based research with some colleagues. But then the PhD side is more of your, you get your undergraduate, then you get your graduate, then you become a PhD, and you do your postdoc where you're,
right.
And so we've got leaders in our cancer center that are in charge of the education and training. It starts with, lectures and didactics, teaching both sides, physicians and PhDs, which we kind of mash them together as much as we can for collaboration. But as far as the young people that are out there, if you think you want a career in cancer research, we've got a pathway for you. From high school students who want to come in the summer to learn a little bit about it, we've got a program for that. If it's college students and summer programs, it's there too.
Okay.
And then we have our own graduate program in cancer biology and experimental therapeutics that will roll into a PhD program. So that's there, and that's another way for us to recruit. We're recruiting from the outside, and the quote, the people from UPenn, but we can't ignore, we got to recruit Mississippians.
Sure.
We want to recruit our own. We want to keep that brain drain from happening.
Yeah, from leaving this state.
Leaving this
we
state.
have some very smart doctors.
We absolutely have very smart people
we
here,
have some
and we
very
need to
smart people
keep them all
from
here. That's
Right.
exactly right.
Just listening, he's so compassionate about it.
I know, right?
And of course, being head of the center, that filters down.
Yes.
So all the researchers will be compassionate as you are, and
Well,
I appreciate that.
Well, that's the Italian in me, and I'm dead serious when I say I have to focus very hard on keeping my hands still, because in Italian I want to.
Yeah, right. You want to just talk with your hands.
That's
Talk
right,
with your
that's
hands.
right,
I
that's
can.
right.
I can.
No,
see,
but thank you. I've been
I can
accused
see
of such. So.
Well, and we're talking about the young people, and that's where I was going with this new facility and working towards getting that NCI. I would think that's going to generate a buzz.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the medical community of the younger group that's going to school right now.
That's right.
That's like, hey, I want to do that. So in a pathway, I think it's average 13, 14 years of study before you're finally. Isn't that about right?
Yeah, I mean, if I guess you count
from the time you start
undergrad. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
It's
absolutely.
about 13, 14 years, and then you really never quit learning. Obviously, you're all
right. Lifelong learners.
It's but there's a lot of young people out there. I'm sure that maybe hearing this, we're like, that would be really cool.
Yeah, no, we do, and each year that goes by, we have more and more interest, and I think it's great. It's great for Mississippi. It's great for the economy. It's great for everyone.
I agree, and the reason why I bring it up, and you touched on it just a second ago, but I want to talk about the technology today, the technology that's going into cancer research, the tools, and you said it's almost like a Star Wars type or Star Trek type, place now. How is that technology benefiting us, and how is AI going to play a role in this?
It's a great question. So I have to go back to when I was a fellow to really kind of explain this. So when I was doing research on ovarian cancer, and my research was taking adenovirus, which is a common cold, and medically, genetically modifying it to attack ovarian cancer, broad scope.
Wait a minute. To attack ovarian cancer. So you're basically taking the common cold and
changing the
I
virus.
Want you to go be a T cell. I want you to go attack a cancer cell. and destroy. Really?
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That
so,
is
so
yeah, that's
That's
amazing.
way up here.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
that's
we,
way up
we
here.
even got to the fancy stuff.
No,
yeah,
no,
so,
that's-
yeah.
but that's pretty cool.
It is pretty neat. And so, so as I was doing that, you know, every time I made a modification to that virus, I'd have to send it off to our genetic people to sequence it to make sure what I changed was actually there. And so, in order to do that, I mean, I had a short sequence. It took 2 to 4 weeks to get those results back of just, you know, just your DNA segments as you go along.
Right.
And so that's just for, you know, 3 or 4 blips on a DNA strand, just
Which
to
is
tell me.
massive.
Which is massive. So it would take
Right.
4 weeks to get that back.
Right.
Today, I could draw your blood, I could send it to the lab, and within 24 hours, I will have your entire genome sequenced.
That's insane.
It is insane. And so, and then now you add AI to that. You know, there are certain things that we're moving at light speed compared to what we were in my career. So it's not like it's changed. But recently, there's a publication that was a whole genome sequencing for all these different, and they used AI on a large database where we had genetic, data on certain cancers. And to do that in the lab in my time
Right.
would have taken 160 years with a team to fully go through all that data and create what
The
is there.
human time.
The human time
Would
it
have
would take
taken
a
160 years.
team of people, 10 to 20 people,
Wow.
160 years. And AI was able to get some answers and some insights in 2 months.
Oh,
So to put it into scale, we are at light speed right now when it comes
And
to
that's
some-
only going to get faster.
It's only going to get faster. Now, there are always safeguards. There's always,
course.
but the respectful use of AI it is
Mm-hmm.
tremendous, and it's something we use daily.
So do you see that as a major partner going forward?
Has to be.
Has to be.
It has to
Is
be.
that maybe ultimately the key that unlocks the hidden code to cancer?
I think it's going to help, because we've got so many smart people,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and across the globe, and ask good questions, and with the internet, with AI, we're collaborating at light speed as well.
Mm-hmm.
What used to be really, really hard to collaborate from Mississippi, here in Jackson to Ole Miss, 2 hours away.
Sure.
I've got colleagues that I collaborate with across the globe. Where I'm sending samples to Australia and
having
vice versa,
Zoom
and
meetings
Zoom
and-
meetings, and
Right.
so just that ability to
Mm-hmm.
to get together and meeting of the minds, plus something like AI that can get answers a lot
Right.
quicker.
Right.
It's fascinating, and if I may, one the Star Wars thing. One of
Yeah,
the
by
things,
all
my
means.
favorite things that I work on right now is when we talk about targeted cancers and individualized care. The most individualized targeted therapy I can think of is we use basically it's called Vigil is the name of the product, and I've been working with a biotech company for years, and we actually harvest cancer from patients when we go to their standard surgery. So a patient comes in with ovarian cancer, our first goal is to do surgery to remove all of it.
Right.
And so what we do is we take part of that cancer and we send it to the lab, and we create an immune therapy specific to the receptors on a patient's cancer.
Okay.
And so if you line up 100 ovarian cancer patients in a room, the receptors on each of their cancers is different. What causes that cancer to grow or metastasize is different.
There could be 100 different.
There could be
receptors
100 different receptors.
with the same type cancer, but just 100.
Just 100 different ways. And so what we do is we target what's specific for that. So if Ms. Jones comes in with her ovarian cancer, we make an immune therapy that's specific to her cancer, and then we give it to her. Ms. Johnson, she needs her own, immune therapy, Vigil made for her. And we just completed some of our trials and got FDA approval for this for certain patients. And the survival in an advanced stage ovarian cancer over a 7-year period. So FDA wanted extended, data. At 7 years, the placebo group, so patients got all standard care, and then they got a shot in the arm. It was either the Vigil or it was placebo. And so those who got, placebo, the average was about 8% of patients were alive at 7 years down the road, which is historically correct in what we see. The patients who got Vigil was approaching 50%.
Wow.
So we saw a
That
fourfold
is a
improvement.
dramatic improvement.
It is, and it's amazing because it's not just us that's doing this.
Right.
There's so many examples of this, just because of technology has grown so much, and we've learned so much about the body. It's fascinating.
Are we going to really get to that day? Do you see that day in the future where you mentioned Star Wars and you've got the AI there and you lay down on a bed and the robot scans you and targets your cancer and shoots it with a laser? Now I'm being euphemistic, obviously, but I mean, you know, and then
No, but you're not far off.
you're miraculously cured all of a sudden. I mean, is that really where we're going?
I think realistically, we're at a place to where we can control cancer down the road. Now, cancer is tricky. The core thing about cancer is it takes normal cell machinery to do bad things.
Right.
So everything that a cancer does is basically just an exaggerated rev up of what the human body does, and that's why it's tricky, because we can't just automatically block a certain pathway. So because we have the capabilities now, we can knock out a pathway 100%.
Okay.
The problem is normal cells also need that
But
pathway
they
to
need
function.
that to function. So
the
you're
trick-
killing the patient by doing that.
That's right. And so
Right.
So the trick is can we control it? Can we discern enough of that between cancer and human? We're getting closer by the day. So I'm optimistic, and
So-
I can see a future where it's plausible.
So that's Paul. I mean, science fiction always becomes science fact at some point. You
Yeah.
know, when you look at, if you look back 100 years and they were writing about space travel, and here we are.
Yeah, I mean, I almost hate to admit it, but my Tesla drove me over here this morning. So I mean,
I know, right?
I like the Jetsons now.
I
so,
know
yeah.
it does, and we're supposed to have flying cars by now, isn't that right? Where's my flying car? I remember, but I'm just thinking about what you're describing.
Yeah.
You know, and all of this is coming together really in a new cancer center
It is,
to
and
get you off that one floor, the courtesy of Senator Kirby.
that's
over
right.
there.
Well, and so I'll talk about the Star Wars, but I don't want to ignore the other side of that. Is that if we're really moving the needle here in Mississippi, which we are currently, and we've got some ways to go, it's also about doing the simple things really, really well.
Well, I was going to ask you, what are the biggest challenges we're facing here in Mississippi with cancer?
Yeah, one
What
of
are those?
Yeah, one of the biggest issues I think we have right now that can give us that quicker needle move, quicker turnaround, is really improving our cancer screening across our state.
Right.
And so, as Mama used to say, an ounce of prevention is a pound of cure.
Right.
And so we have to do better at screening our patients. We actually just submitted a grant to the Rural Transformation Grant Mechanism put on by our Mississippi Department of Health with CMS. Is where the dollars come from, to really build a mobile fleet so we can go across the state and reach rural areas where patients don't have to drive, as my example earlier, 75 miles to get to a place to even get the screen.
Right.
We're going to go to them. We're going to flip that script and go to the patients with smaller mobile units that can screen for cancers. So that we can hopefully get the care for the patients and diagnose at a much earlier stage, which it's treatable and curable.
Do you foresee a way in the future that these rural community medical centers will be able to help facilitate that?
I think so, and we work real
I mean,
well
the
with our
mobile idea
colleagues.
is great,
The
but I mean,
mobile idea is
you're
great,
talking
but
about having to be able to expand screening. You've got to get it almost down into the trust care, the MEAs, the
absolutely, and I think we've got a good plan.
Band-Aid stations even.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely, and I think our plan, we probably spent more time and effort on the infrastructure that it takes, and the communications, and we have to lean into things like telemedicine, which is a big part of what we do at UMMC. We're one of two institutions where that's a designated center of excellence for telemedicine. And so we have to use that as part of that communication, and it's at 360 degrees. It's from us to the docs that take care of the patients, as well as the patients, and then back to us. And so we've got a plan. I think the plan is going to work. We just got to get the funding and get it kicked off.
So how much more do you need, funding wise?
Oh, for that program, or
I mean, for the total, to get it off, to get the new building going.
yeah. So we have a capital campaign. There's a $125 million goal, and in just over a year's time, we reached $100 million, and that speaks, as I mentioned before, the generosity of Mississippians. I mentioned we're first in a lot of the worst, but one thing that we're first in that's really great, and I feel this daily, is Mississippians are more generous than any other state in the country. When you look at the average household income compared to what the average, philanthropic gifts are, Mississippi leads the country in that.
Wow.
So in just over a year's time, we were able to raise $100 million, for this building. And then within 24 hours of reaching that goal, which we're very proud, the very next day, the legislators approved another $100 million for the Cancer Center building. So it's roughly going to cost about $250 million to build that. So
Right.
we definitely have 200 and some change.
You could get started.
Yeah, so we actually have a groundbreaking plan.
Right.
So in October. And that's going to officially, kick us off. Although we've already kind of started moving some dirt, and took a building down. But yeah, the official, groundbreaking will be
Right.
this October.
I know that's going to be an exciting day.
It is.
How long is it going to take to get to really get it up and what, a couple of years probably?
Yeah, 2 to 3 years, is a good average. And how those things work from construction is we want incentives for
Right,
them to get
right,
finished
right.
sooner and
Right.
whatnot. But I think that, so if we get started this year, we're looking at, in 28, early 29, moving into a new building with, to take care of the patients, give the best care possible.
This sounds like, to me, it sounds like a dumb question, but how do you design a 250,000 square foot, 5-story building with all the moving parts that you have? I mean, do you have to
Yeah.
just get everybody in the room and say, okay, what do you want? How do you want it to look?
Yeah.
How do you
Yeah,
do that?
very carefully.
How do you do
Well, you
that?
probably look at other buildings in other states.
There's no question. I
Yeah.
think taking some some wins from other places. Where we
Sure.
go around and say,
What did you do right? What would you change?
what went wrong?
What-
How would you
right,
change
right,
this?
right.
And so, we want it to be a very functional building to where it's
Mm-hmm.
easy for patients to navigate, easy to
Right.
get in. There's already so much stressors for patients that it has to be what we call a patient-centric
Mm-hmm.
facility that really facilitates that process. And to the point to where I want to treat it almost like your Chick-fil-A. I mean, you go up to Chick-fil-A, you got 2 or 3 people taking care of you. You got an iPad. I want the same philosophy. I want our navigators to be at the front door and say, okay, Mrs. Jones, you're here. I see you got an appointment with Dr. Riccone, but you also need some blood work. So I'm gonna walk you to the lab,
Right.
and we're gonna get you. And that's the type of wayfinding and helping people just to get over the little things like that.
But that
you,
stops a lot of that congestion in the lobby where people are trying to find where to go, and it makes the traffic flow.
It does, but in regards to the mechanism of how that happens,
Yeah.
we get the stakeholders in place. What do you need? Now we have to remind them. Okay, there's several layers to this. I mean, there's the ideal scenario.
Give me your wish
There's
list
a bare
and your
bones,
need list.
and that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So
And I might come somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, and
Let me tell you, a few years ago, I went to Mayo Clinic to have tests.
yes, sir.
And they told me you're going to have 6 tests on Tuesday. Be here at like 7:30 in the morning,
Right.
whatever. I go to the first one, I check in, and they say, follow her. I follow her. I go in. The doctor comes in almost immediately, and we talk and do all these things. And then he says, okay, like you say, we're going to do blood. We're going to do this. We're going to follow another one. Follow her. So we go.
Yep.
Anyway, and I'd go to check in each time. 6 of them that day.
Yeah.
6. And one time I actually did sit down for about 1 second.
Yeah.
And they called my name.
And they call it,
That's
and it was
follow
just
her.
boom, 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 boom.
That's right.
boom.
Right,
I mean,
right,
it was
right.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that's what you're.
That's
wanting
what we're
to do.
talking about.
And-
Yeah,
and
it's the handoff philosophy, and
it was unbelievable, and I'm excited we're going to have that.
I am too. And he might can find you some more money. You just never know.
That's what-
He's
that's what
a pretty resourceful guy.
that's right. That's right. I got a cell phone now. I know how to.
He's pretty resourceful. He might find
Well,
you.
we're going to work on it.
He might find you another 100,000
we
laying
want
around.
to do everything
I mean,
we can.
yeah, he might find another 100 million laying around somewhere. He might.
From your
really
lips to
got
God's
that.
ears.
Yeah, right, right.
Can
You
we
just,
put that on installment plans?
That's right. We'll take that too.
that's really cool. And we could get really deep in the weeds, but I really do appreciate you kind of giving us an overview.
Sure.
Of what this looks like, because it seems like a daunting task, but it looks like you're having a good time doing it.
Yeah, I mean, when
I mean,
you're helping,
as he said, you're so passionate about it.
Yeah.
You look like it's
know,
almost
he's
like you're
so
you're cooking
excited.
and you're.
Yeah.
But I mean, it looks like just what you were literally meant to be doing.
well, thank you. I do think it's a little bit of, as the kids will say, a God wink. That
Yes,
brought me back
sure,
here.
sure.
I didn't go into this, but I think
Well,
it's
God
part
puts
of
you where He wants you.
No, it's exactly right. And,
Right.
And the first time I remember ever hearing the words cancer, I mentioned my grandparents came over. My dad. There were 5 siblings that were there, and the baby of the family, Mary, was actually closer to my age, as I was one of the oldest next cousins than she was to most of her siblings. And when I was about 7, Mary was 19, and she was diagnosed with leukemia and unfortunately passed.
Wow.
Since that time, I've lost both grandparents, 2 uncles, my mother, and others, to cancer. All of these people are Mississippians who were born in the Delta, who were raised in the Delta, and died in the Delta.
Is it true that 1 out of 4 people develop some type of cancer?
It's actually a little more than that. Unfortunately, it's 1 in every 2.7 patients
Really?
will have cancer at some point in their lifetime.
Wow.
And some of that is just
Some don't even.
people living longer,
Right.
and so they are actually living long enough to get a cancer they might not have received or had before. But in parallel to that, not to be all doom and gloom, but our survivals are so much better
I was thinking
now.
to say you have literally, and I use nipped it in the bud just as a Mississippi saying, but think about how far you've come with breast cancer. I
Absolutely.
mean, yes, is it traumatic for her? Absolutely. But I mean, breast cancer survivability rates now are just
They're out the roof.
out the roof.
And
And
just-
prostate cancer.
Prostate cancer. I mean, even some of our aggressive cancers like
Right.
pancreas, melanoma, ovarian cancer. Some of those that 15, 20 years ago
Would kill you.
Would kill you.
yeah,
And we've got a shot now on a lot of those cancers. And
Right.
so if you group that all together, 35% patients living 35% longer than they ever have. So
I have
so
2
it,
good friends that are cancer free just found
Yeah.
out.
Right. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's amazing just how far
Ring the
you've
bell,
come.
right?
that's right. And you ask why I'm excitable and why I'm. It's part of my nature, but it means something to me. It really
Sure.
does.
Personal.
And coming back to Mississippi, given the history there personally, and that's not meant to, story about the Riccone family. It's a sad fact of what cancer
Well,
does.
it makes sense of the papers, especially the unraveling the etiology. Is that how I say it correct? Of ovarian cancer, racial disparity in the deep South. Is it nature or nurture? Another paper written by him. But that's exactly. It sounds to me like these papers that you co-authored and part of really are vested in the Riccones. It's really looking back at my own family living in the Delta, rural access to health care. Could it have been different? That's really what you're asking. That's the question you're asking.
Yeah, and from a research standpoint, my research career kind of gravitated toward the patients I saw every day.
Sure.
And not that the research didn't mean anything to me,
Right.
but when I see every patient and know that the research that I'm doing could potentially help that patient, it puts a little more oomph in your step.
It
and,
does. Wow.
and
That's incredible. I really appreciate you coming in
Oh, I
today.
do
No,
too.
thank
I
you,
learned
guys.
so much.
That makes me want to go out and write a check. I wish I had $100 million. I'd give it to you.
so do I.
I'd be like,
He said
man,
he'd take installment.
he take
That's right,
installment
that's right,
plan.
that's right.
Best I can do is offer him up and see if he can help you out.
That's right. No, I appreciate you guys
Yeah.
having me on. This
Yeah,
has been a
this
lot
is-
of fun, and
this is
and
great.
I'm excitable, but this is a project worth completing.
And it's worth talking
Absolutely.
about. We need to
One of the
continue.
greatest things we've done.
Yes, we need to continue talking about it. I mean, it is, you want to bring home health care where you don't have to travel to Mayo, you don't have to go to MD Anderson, you know, which are wonderful institutions.
Nothing against
They
them.
are.
That's
Nothing
right.
against them, but why can't we have that here?
Yeah.
And we are going to have
We
it
are.
here.
We are going to have
That's
it
right.
here. You heard them. We're going to have it here. Whatever you need, he's got you, right?
Yeah, we
Be
got
in the
it back.
legislature
They-
next session.
They have been extremely helpful in this
Right.
this
Well,
venture.
We've come to the part of the interview where I do started doing it this year. It's been a lot of fun. We call it the lightning round. It's where I ask you a quick question and you just give me the first quick answer. And it's meant to be fun.
Yep.
Last week I asked, what's one thing that you did as a teenager that was against the law that you never got caught doing? And literally,
Was it Sparks?
It was
that
Sparks.
outran the police?
Oh, God, yeah.
he outran the police. Well, I did that too. We've probably all done that.
Yeah.
So what is something you did as a teenager that was definitely against the law that you didn't get caught doing, that you want to admit now today?
Yeah, I guess so. Underage drinking. There's a story here,
Okay.
and boy, I can't believe I'm saying this. I might have to edit this. So I was a precocious young man. So I started shaving probably at age
Okay.
like sixth grade or something like that, like
Sure.
a good Italian boy would.
Right.
And we had a neighborhood bar at the front of our neighborhood, and me and my buddy, I'll just say Dave. I won't
You wanna
dox him
incriminate
right now.
him.
Yeah. So neither one of us could drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a summer, in high school, and so we jumped on our bikes and rode up to the neighborhood bar on a Friday afternoon. Not sure why it was a good idea. And then finally, I was like, hey, whoa, we need to park our bikes before we go into the bar. He's like, good idea, Rocco. And so we parked our bikes, like in some bushes down the road. And so we walked up, and he's getting nervous, like, hey, just be confident. And so we walk in. The guy, it wasn't a bouncer, but the guy just looked at us walking in, and the barkeep was behind the bar. So we bellied up, and the guy turned around, looked at us, and he gave us a look like, are you kidding me right now? and I said, I'll have a Bud Light. And Dave was like, I'll have a Bud Light. His voice literally cracked at that moment. And the guy shook his head. And then he this is Louisiana,
Yeah, sure,
back in the 80s, and he shook his head, and he's kind of like, you know what, these guys, got enough guts to be. He turned around.
If you've got the stones to come in here.
Yeah, so he gave us both a beer, and we kind of clinked, and I started to drink, and all of a sudden I hear, hey, Timmy, put it on my tab. And I looked, and it was my next door neighbor, my dad's buddy.
Busted.
So we finished our beers, and we headed out, and I don't think he ever told my dad, or if he told my dad, he never said a word about it.
Boys being boys.
I
That's a
guess.
great
So,
story.
Those are fun stories. Boys being boys.
yeah, we might have to slice that one out of this,
Oh,
but I don't know.
no, we'll keep that one.
Yeah, that's a keeper there. That's classic.
Boys being boys. That's exactly right. All right, coffee or energy drink?
Coffee,
All right. Early bird or night owl?
night owl.
What's the first app you open on your phone every morning?
Actually, Hallow, which is it's a Catholic Christian
yeah, I know
app,
it.
so it's kind of my morning devotional. So,
Okay, all right.
which might go against the previous story I
Well,
told.
no.
That goes with Catholic.
We both went to Ole Miss, and I'd like to tell people this. Like my freshman year was a blur. Don't remember it too well. I was pretty much that guy. I finally woke up one day. I got to get an education. This ain't gonna work anymore. but so we've all been down that road.
Yeah.
We've all been down that road. But I do say that God looks after drunks and fools, because I have been that plenty.
Yeah, and I don't drink, so. it
And I
tells you
don't
where I
drink
am.
anymore, and so I guess I'm just a fool now. Right, but
yeah.
He does look after drunks and fools, and we have to sow those oats. It's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
It's fun. All right, so if your staff could roast you about one thing, what would it be?
I'm not sure I could narrow it down to one.
Oh, well, 2 or 3.
Yeah, I mean, so I actually get picked on quite a bit about my optimism with everything.
Oh, well,
and that, as my dear colleague says, that she's glass half full, but I am cuppeth overrunneth.
But overrun.
But
Yeah, sure.
But I don't know. I'm ultimately opportunistic and also optimistic about everything we do. And the old adage, if you want to achieve, you better believe. And so I believe it can happen.
I mean, belief too in the mind when you're dealing with a patient who has terminal cancer, and you're talking to them, and you're and you're saying, "Look, we're going to get after this." That helps them too.
Absolutely.
So you need that. So yeah, we
Hope is a very powerful
hope is
drug.
a very powerful drug.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And so the doctor being exceptionally optimistic, if your cup overrunneth, so be it. Favorite Mississippi restaurant?
Ooh, boy. I guess here locally, I really like Kate.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
If your life were a movie, who would play you? Stumped you. on that one,
No,
didn't
this is a dangerous.
If your life were a movie, who would you have play? You can think of all the doctors on TV, you know, Hollywood. Who would play you?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm trying to think of some Italian dude, but I don't know.
I like that show, The Pit. Have you seen it?
I have been watching that.
The Pit. It's what, Netflix?
It's about emergency room.
It's
in
about emergency
Pittsburgh.
room and the guy that was on ER.
Yeah, I
the
watched
main,
it on HBO Max.
yeah,
actually.
maybe it's HBO Max, right? I can't remember what his name is, but he's a good actor. He plays a good doctor.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I could see him playing you.
Yeah, the only medical show that I've ever watched was Scrubs.
Scrubs was hilarious.
Yeah, and that's probably why.
So
It's
who
some
would you identify most with in Scrubs?
I went from I can't remember his name, but Zach Braff, who is the main guy of that. I went from him to then Dr. Cox.
Okay.
So
Okay.
as I've gravitated to my career, so I became more of a Dr. Cox kind of guy. So
We'll say that.
okay, fair enough.
What's always in your refrigerator? One thing you can't do without. If it's out of the refrigerator, you got to go get it.
You might have to ask my wife that.
When you go to the refrigerator, you're like, well, honey, where's the...
Yeah, I mean, maybe either a cold beer or
Okay. All right.
or I do like fruit, so you
Yeah.
know, oranges and
Oranges.
Actually, no, I take back my answer. So this is a guilty pleasure.
Okay.
It's in the freezer. They make these little frozen grapes that are covered in sugar stuff,
Okay.
and those are delicious.
So
So
when they're not in the
when
freezer,
they're not in there, I ask
you're
for
like,
them
wait a minute,
specifically.
where's that? All right. What was your first job?
First job, I worked for a company that helped with the cleaning of oil rigs in Louisiana. I learned a lesson, very important lesson, the hard way. My dad told me, "Hey, you're old enough now. You need a summer job.
Sure.
You need to go find one." And so every couple of weeks, he'd circle back. Have you got a job yet? Have you got a job? No, I'm working on it, Dad. I've been talking to people. And then right before summer started, he came and slid a piece of paper over, and I said, "What's that?" He goes, "You call him on Monday morning. That's your job."
That's where you're going to work.
And so the job was we worked in the oil. So once they finished in the crude oil, those big tankers, we were part of the cleanup crew. So we would go in with those high pressure washers to get all the sludge off of the inside of a tanker in Louisiana in the middle of summer inside the building.
Oh.
We also had to layer up 3 layers to where you put on the first layer, like you see the flame retardant stuff that the NASCAR people wear. Then there was like a rubber suit kind of thing you put over that, or like a jumpsuit.
Right.
And then you put on the big like spaceship. You look like you go,
yeah.
and you would walk up the scaffolding inside of this thing, and for 15 minutes you were doing this, and then a red light came on, and that meant you had to come out because you could only stay in there for 15 minutes, and then you would decontaminate and wash off on all 3 layers, get a Gatorade, and by the time you finish your Gatorade, it was time for you to start, putting on your
process
gear
of
again.
Light comes on,
Yeah,
yeah.
12 hours of that.
Wow.
So that next summer, I had a great job. By Christmas,
taught
I was
you-
like,
he
Dad,
taught-
I got.
He taught you a good.
Oh man, I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
so learned that lesson the hard way.
Oh
but-
my.
That's
What's
good.
what's one thing that most people don't know about you?
Well, so I can juggle and ride a unicycle
Can you
at the same time,
really?
but I'm scared to death of clowns. I don't know how that all worked.
Wait a minute. So
in.
you can juggle and ride a unicycle at the same time. Now, how did you do?
It kind of came up by accident. Like when I was a kid, I had a cousin who's older than me, and he was for dexterity. He was an athlete, and I was a has-been athlete as well. And
Okay.
he's like, yeah, eye-hand coordination and juggling. So I learned to juggle when I was probably 10, 12 years old.
Okay.
And then someone was like getting rid of a unicycle at a garage,
Right.
sale.
You don't
and-
see those anymore.
No, so
People our age know
so
what that is.
So I
but-
picked it up and I
right.
was like, oh, I'll try this. Like $3, sure.
Sure.
And so then I taught myself how to do it, and so
Wow.
it's been a couple of years since I still juggle every now and then just for giggles. But anyway, that'd be the one thing I don't think most people recognize. for real.
No. That's pretty neat. See, you didn't know that. That's
No,
two things you
I've-
didn't
I've-
know.
I've learned a lot.
Yeah,
today.
right there.
Most of which you can probably forget.
What is one medical myth that drives you crazy when you hear it?
You know, so when people say, I've done my research, which I'm like, no, actually, you've done what we used to call reading. I said, because research is you have a hypothesis, you set a series of experiments, and then you see which is true or false.
right.
That's technically
That's
research.
research.
You just read on Google what, you know,
Right.
is there. So.
That's pretty funny. I figured that. Favorite movie of all time? Your go-to?
Well, it's hard. I mean, the Italian in me wants to, pick one, The Godfather, which is solid. One.
Solid, yeah.
Then there's the Rocky Balboa.
Yeah,
but
right.
the one movie I cannot turn off, if it comes on.
Right.
It's probably Shawshank Redemption.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
a solid one.
That's a solid
movie.
one. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a great movie.
And
Yeah.
that
So
probably.
if it's just on, you walk by
If
the
it's
TV
on,
and
it's
you
just-
see it, you stop for a minute and
Yeah.
it's Shawshank. Yeah, that's a good one.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman. And then the other one, totally different type of movie, but Raised in Arizona is probably
Oh, yeah, that's another good one.
that's a classic
That's a- yeah.
comedy that's just so darn funny.
It's far, yes, it is. What does your wife say you spend too much money on?
Oh boy, my kids make fun of me of being bougie, so like just
Clothes.
Well, not so much clothes,
All
but I love electronics and
Oh,
knickknacks and
yeah.
so it's probably electronics or gadgets.
Gadgets.
Yeah.
Like you spend way too much money on gadgets. Probably fun around Christmas time around your house.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody probably gets gadgets, and
You get gadgets.
you're probably looking. Hey, I'm gonna get all the kids one of these. And I used to do that. I would get all the kids the same kind of little gadget.
Actually, that's wrong. Because the one thing she gets on me the most about, as I think about it, is fly fishing. I love to fly fish. It's my hobby. So it's
Okay.
probably the fly fishing gear. So
All the stuff you have to
Yeah,
have.
I've
the
got-
trips you have to make. Yeah, yeah.
I've got it in the garage. It looks like an Orvis store.
That's hilarious. Oh, what's your favorite go-to road trip snack?
I like Twizzlers, oddly enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
My dad, when I got married, told me to always wear comfortable shoes. And I think he meant it literally, but I think figuratively is probably where it sits. Is to always be comfortable where you are, to be where your feet are, and to be present. So I'm not.
Yeah, you could get pretty deep in that.
Yeah, and that's the.
a
I'm
philosophy
joking
there.
on him a little bit, but
Right.
but that's where he meant.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, so what song comes on the radio in the car or Sirius XM, whatever, that you're by yourself that you just belt out and sing to?
Man, I am a true blues fan, and Muddy Waters is my jam. And,
Yeah.
and
Well, you're a Delta boy.
I'm a Delta boy, so it's not too
Yeah.
far. So I'd say
No.
any
Okay.
B.B. King. type.
BB King's great, but Muddy Waters
Muddy
is
Waters
my dude.
is your
so,
dude.
yeah.
Got it. So I didn't even have this one down. So in surgery, what did you listen to?
Depends on my mood. If it was a big case, I mean, it was blues.
Okay.
If it was
Something small and simple.
something small and simple, I don't know, like kind of off blues, kind of poppy blues, like
Okay,
Teskey
yeah.
Brothers
No,
or something like that. But it's
got
all
it.
in the blues,
Right. So
blues
just depending on
genre.
the mood, whatever the case was.
Whatever
at
the
time.
case
So what
was.
most people probably don't know is because you're asleep when you go in there, you have no idea. But there's always music playing in the OR, and it's usually whatever surgeon, whatever he likes, that he
Yeah.
particularly likes to get into a rhythm, because it's getting into a rhythm.
It is.
Is it not?
It is, and it just background distraction. It can't be too loud,
No,
but just
but you
enough
just
to be able to
hear it.
hear, just to hear.
Because
So-
there's 15 people standing around in there, and I hope everybody likes blues, because that's
That's
what
right.
they're going
That's
to
right. That's what they're going to get.
That's what they're going to get. All right, so if your family described you in one word, what would it be?
Hopefully funny.
Okay, I believe that.
Yeah.
So
I
that
got,
leads,
I got a humorous side.
you have
so-
a humorous side, so
Yeah.
that leads me to the right next question. What's the most used emoji on your phone?
Oh, it's the laughing emoji, no doubt.
Is it the
Yeah.
crying tears?
It's the crying with the tilted
With the
face
okay.
aside. Yeah.
Okay.
That one.
All right. What is one thing you've discovered that you were absolutely terrible at?
That's something else I got a laundry list of. Yeah, I'm so optimistic that
I know,
now
right?
that-
And you're like, dadgummit, I wish I could get this.
yeah. So, I guess I'm not dirty, but I'm not the neatest person.
Okay.
You know, so
you just leave stuff laying around.
yeah, a little bit, maybe a lot of bit.
Well,
so,
I thought that you
yeah, a lot. So, yeah, I guess, but
No,
I don't. Yeah.
That makes sense. You just kind of leave, because I get it. Because your mind is going all the time, that you'll set it down. I'm bad about that.
Yeah.
I get fussed at that too. Why did you leave that plate over there? Why didn't you put that in the sink? Why didn't you? And I'm like, I was doing something else.
Yeah. Or
I got distracted.
Or I'll just, it's like a process. I'm like, I have something and I'll put it here when the sink is just right over there.
know,
But
right.
then I'll pick it up and I'll move to this side of the table and it's still not
It's
quite
still
there.
not quite
So
there yet. It's
a
progressing.
habit. Yeah, but it's making its way. If we give it enough time, I'm sure that plate's going to
I'm
find its way over.
guilty of that.
Patience wears thin at some point with the wife, and she's like, "Come on."
Yeah. Or leaving cups out. Like I'll drink through 4 or 5 different
Right,
cups
right,
throughout the day. So.
So this is another one. How did you meet your wife?
Ladies' night, Caches, Fort Walton Beach during
Okay.
spring break.
No kidding.
Yeah. I was friends with some of her sorority sisters through classes and things like that. But the first time we met was there. So
Cool.
it's kind of funny, but that is literally the first time we met.
That's the first time you met. All right. So how'd you propose?
So it was Groundhog's Day. No, I'm joking. It was a spring weekend, and we decided to go down to New Orleans for the weekend, see some folks.
Sure.
And so we're walking down French Quarter and French Market and all that kind of stuff, and getting our beignets and doing the things. And so I proposed to her in Jackson Square.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And I actually had a friend, a buddy of mine, that was unbeknownst to her was in the bushes or in the vicinity. That was taking pictures of everything.
Yeah, right.
And so I gave her. There's a couple pictures that hang in our house. One of which is of the cathedral, and the other which is oddly enough an old couple, because we saw an elderly couple walk by, and it was St. Patrick's Day, so everybody's wearing green, and so it was this old Irish dude with a beanie cap and his wife, and they looked to be, as my young eyes back then, they looked to be 100 years old. And
Right.
They're probably my age now. but my buddy, unbeknownst, because we were talking about it, I'm like, oh, look at that sweet couple. They're holding hands walking around. And my buddy actually took a picture of that, like 3 or 4 blocks over. He had no idea we were talking about that couple, so it was kind of unique.
That
So
is kind of unique.
that was my one romantic, I guess, gesture. So I probably need to be better about that. So.
Wow. This has been enlightening and fun.
Same. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I have learned a lot. I'm looking forward to what you do and where
Thank
you
you.
go. We'll keep tabs on that. Maybe we can have him back after he gets that.
that
you
would
know,
be great.
Yeah,
That'd be
would love
awesome.
that. Would love that.
In a few years, we'll get you back and have, talk about, hey, this is where we were. This is where we are.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
That'll be really fun. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all's time. This has
Thank
been a
you
lot
very
of
much.
fun.
It's been a lot of fun, and thank you, Senator, for
Oh,
bringing him
look,
in.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's
you've
do
got
it.
me all pumped up.
Let's go. We'll put you on a committee. We'll do something.
We'll
find a role.
All right. Thank you for coming in. All right.
Thanks,
so,
everybody.
y'all don't run off, because when we come back, we're going to talk about what's going on this week in Pearl. We'll be right back.
Here in Pearl, we have Trustmark Park. It seats 8,500 people. It's a great venue that we have here locally. You can catch a baseball game. We have a new team, the Mississippi Mud Monsters, so we're so excited about that. And Trustmark Park, the stadium's been fully renovated. And adjacent to that, we have Bass Pro Shop, as well as the Mississippi outlets that people can come shop and enjoy and have a great time. So it's a good place to come. It's a destination spot for our city. We did a $12 million renovation to our Parks and Rec several years ago, and what we were missing was another key area for our children to come and just be able to hang out and have fun, but also have some playground equipment that was really cutting edge. I've always thought if you can get your community together, then you can have a stronger sense of community. And I think that's what Main Street brings to the table for us. And even though we're a post-World War II city and our architectural doesn't signify a downtown, we're trying to have an area that we create that people can come together and have a sense of community.
Hi folks, welcome back into This Week in Pearl. I'm your host, Frank Hutton, and I want to tell Dr. Riccone how much we really appreciate him coming in and sitting down with us, and thank you to Senate Pro Tem Dean Kirby for inviting him. What a fantastic conversation. Love really getting into the cancer and the research that they're doing, and especially the new building that they're building. Looking forward to all of that, and I'm also looking forward to keeping the brain drain from leaving Mississippi, and let's keep those medical students right here and pushing them through. It was a fantastic conversation. Thank you again, Doctor, for sitting down with us. I really enjoyed you explaining all those things. Phenomenal, phenomenal. All right, so what's going on this week in Pearl? Well, it's actually this month. Right now, we're getting ready for football season. If you can believe it, football season is back. On the 21st of this month, Canton comes to town. It's the Jamboree game, and Pearl Pirates will take on Canton. I believe it starts at 6 because it's a Jamboree. It's a little different how that works. If you haven't ever seen that before, come on out to Pirate Stadium and you can see that. And then the following week, Madison Central comes to town and we open up preseason play against them. Also going on August 22nd, just literally in a couple of weeks, is Pirate Fest. Pirate Fest is going to happen. That's open to all of the Pearl High School graduates, whatever year. It doesn't matter. It could be just literally this past May, but it is one big gigantic family reunion of all alumni of Pearl High School. So if you graduated in 48, or you graduated in 88, or you graduated last May, it's for you. Pirate Fest on the 22nd. I think you can go to piratefest.pearltix.com and you can get a bunch of information about that. Anyway, I've enjoyed bringing this show to you today. I hope y'all enjoyed seeing Dr. Rodney Riccone. It was a fantastic conversation. Thanks again. Until next week, y'all have a good time. Good week.